Today, I want to share with you how to start building a workspace inside of Notion as a student. So what we're going to create here is something like a starter template with 3 different databases. The first is going to be for classes, the next one's going to be for a calendar, and the third one is going to be for note-taking. What we're going to do is assemble these 3 databases with the essentials, and then connect them together into a working system. Let's just get right into it. Let's start with the 3 databases, one of which, the class directory. This is where all of the classes are going to go. So I'm going to go /inline table. Call it my class directory. And I'm going to change name to class and start putting in some properties here that are essential, like instructor. Let's look at the instructor of a particular class. The next one may be building, the building the class is in, the room the class is in, also something like syllabus. Now for syllabus, what I want to do is create a files and media property, so you can go ahead and upload something like a PDF. So files and media. And I also want some date properties, one of which being term. And I'm going to make sure this property is a date property. Another date property that might be useful is one for midterms. Make sure it's also a date property. Determining what semester this class is in. So let's do a semester select property. And I suppose there should be 2 options here, semester 1 and 2. You can also always change these options in your own system. Semester 2. Okay, so I actually should not hide that. I'm going to bring semester over to the side here. Make sure it's semester 1 because the example I want to put here, this is a template. I want to give the user some sample data to show how this system works if used. Let's have an example of about 5 different classes. Let's do another select property. Just going to go insert to the right here, call this one year, and again make it a select property. And in this example, I'm just going to give 4 different options. Again, you can add more to this, but I'm just going to go year 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And I'm going to make all of these the same color too. Year 1. And let's put in some sample data to get started. But before I do that, I actually want to create a filter here for this database view to show only classes from semester 1, year 1. So I'm going to go to these 3 dots here, go to filter, go to add filter, and I want to make sure that the year is year 1 and the semester is semester 1. Now what I want to do is go over to my Google Sheets. I have some data here that I like to do whenever I create any template, but we have 5 classes here: instructors, building, room, and term, and midterm. So I'm just going to arrange this database in the same way. So let's do class, instructor, building, room, also term, and midterm. Now that I have all of this here, you can copy and paste from a spreadsheet into Notion. And I'm just going to click on this first cell, click out of it, make sure that cell is highlighted blue. And then after copying this, which I will probably make public so you guys can really do this from scratch with me, I'm going to copy it and come over here and paste it in. Now we have a lot of data in here to work with. I'm going to adjust some of these widths. Maybe the term, bring it out a little bit. And that looks nice. Now the next thing I want to do, maybe turn this building property into a select property. Just in case you have multiple classes in the same building, you can easily and quickly select them. Let's make these all red for the example template. Now that I have the essentials out of the way, let's bring over semester, maybe to the side here. That looks nice. I want to hide year and syllabus and midterms. I also want to create another property called done and make it a checkbox. Before I continue finishing this database, let's create an inline calendar. And I'm going to call it my calendar or my class calendar. You know what? Let's create some properties in here. I don't want too many. I want to keep it kind of simple so you can add as many others as you'd like. So firstly, there needs to be a done checkbox, obviously, for a to-do list. So make that a checkbox. The next thing I want to do is connect this to my class directory. Name a property called class, and I'm going to go down to advanced here. Click on relation. This is going to connect two databases together. Upon clicking that, it's going to tell you to select a particular database. So in this case, I have my class directory, and I'm going to create that relation. Now, whenever I click through this cell next to this relation, I can see all of my classes and I can choose one. What we're going to do is inside of the class directory, I want to be able to automate this process. So whenever I go into German 101 and I go to the body of the page, I can create an assignment that automatically connects to that class. Let's just delete that for now. Let's make another relation to notes, except we haven't made the notebook database yet, so we have to go ahead and make that first. I'm just going to make another block and go / inline table and call this one my class notebook. There's only going to be one other property here. I'm going to call it time created. And if you go down to, well, I'm going to have other properties as well connecting, but one other essential property. I'm going to go down to advanced and click on created time. Whenever you create a new row or a new entry inside of a database, it will give you a created timestamp. Created time. So what I'm going to do is create a sort, and I'm going to create a sort that says time created descending. This will give me the latest entry into this notebook at the very top. I also want to create a relation to my calendar because I want to connect some assignments to my notebook as well. So let's go assignments. You can also call this to-dos, whatever you'd like, and relation. And go ahead and search for my class calendar. I'm also going to create a connection to the class directory, just like I did in the calendar. Go to relation and search for my class directory. Now at the top here, if I go back to creating an item inside of this calendar, you'll see a relation coming back from the notebook. So I can actually delete notes. I'm going to rename this one to notes. Now if I click through, I could actually create a new entry inside of my notebook. So new note. And if I come down to the bottom here, you'll see new note has populated and assignments connected to untitled because we didn't title that page. Whenever you create a relation, a back relation is made, which means since both calendar and notebook created a relation to the class directory, there should be two relations coming back. So if I click through to biology, that should be the case, which is right here in the middle. We have related to my class calendar, which I'm going to rename this to assignments. All assignments attached to this class will show up here, and all of my notes right here. I'm going to clean up these properties here in a moment, but let's just focus on functionality. Let's focus on connecting all of this together and creating a system. What I'm going to do is go back up to this class directory. Since in most cases, if you want to start adding to-dos for certain classes, you want to do it inside of their pages. So I'm going to create a template here so that in the body of the page, we can start populating this stuff really quickly. One way to create a template is through a body of the page. You have a create a template option, or next to the new button, there's a little arrow pointing down. You can also create a template here. So let's say this is called new class. I'm going to open it up as a page. So I am going to connect the calendar in the notebook. I'm going to go / linked database. Create a linked database. What this is going to do is allow me to link to a database I've already created, which is my class calendar. It will appear in my original, but if I add particular filters or database views inside of this linked database, it will not affect the original. So I'm going to change this view to calendar. And when you add a new view, the original table view will still be there. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. I'm going to go up to the top here, and I'm still in that template, to the three dots, go to filter, and I'm going to make sure that the relation class contains. Now this is going to give me a list of all of the classes inside of my class directory. And you'll notice there's another option here called new class. That is the name of the template we're in. So what I want to do is select new class. First, let's create an example or just a temporary item inside of this calendar. And I want to adjust some properties I'm seeing through the calendar. So I'm going to go down to properties and I'm going to toggle on the done checkbox. Let's just delete that for now. And the next one I want to create down here is a little window into the notebook, right? So I'm going to go / linked database, create linked database here. And I'm going to search for my class notebook, which was the name of that database. And I'm going to keep this a table. I'm going to hide the class property. I'm going to keep this time created and the assignments, just in case I want to connect this to a particular assignment. What I want to do here, just like with the calendars, I'm going to create that filter that says class contains the name of this template, new class. And at the very top of this template, I want to give every new class its own icon. And if you press add new icon, it gives you a random emoji. What you can also do is upload an image here or link from the web. I'm going to give you a really good resource, and that is super.so. It is a website where you can go ahead and copy some really nice minimal icons. Let's have each class have a coffee cup as its icon. You can always change this for your own system. I'm going to go to the link option here and just paste it in. All right, cool. Let's see how this works. Go to biology, open this guy up as a page, and go to new class. Now I have my two databases here in the body of the page and that emoji. Before we check out how all of that works, let's clean up these properties. So I want semester at the top, year at the very top, instructor. Do we really need assignments and notes? What happens here is if I click through this calendar and assign a new assignment, what's going to happen is this will show up inside of our calendar, but it will also show up here at the top in this property. It is a bit redundant seeing both the calendar and the list of links. So I'm going to hide this by going to hide property, maybe hide when empty or always hide. I'm going to click always hide. Notes as well. And I'm going to bring the done checkbox to the very bottom, bring term up here, and room right under building. Just make this all look nice. Let's call this guy assignment A, and this is just for examples. So assignment A, and maybe add a new note, note 1. Connect this to assignment A. Maybe this note is needed to complete assignment A. And there we go. If I go back to the home page and I go to my master calendar, assignment A will show up. I can also adjust some of the properties I'm seeing here. So I'm going to go to these three dots, the menu for the database, and I'm going to go to properties and toggle on done. I could also toggle on class. Now let's go to maybe English 201 and also implement that template. Let's add something in here, assignment B. And this will automatically be attached to English 201. And let's say for this example, it's done. And note 2 and maybe note 3. Not every note has to be assigned to an assignment. It could just be a regular random lecture note. You'll notice that the sort is giving us time created descending. So it's giving us the most recent at the top. How do I show what time of the day I have biology and also what days of the week? So let's get into that. Going to the class directory, let's go to those 3 dots and properties. I want to hide a lot of these temporarily. I'm going to hide instructor, building, room, term, pretty much everything here except for done. And I'm going to create a property called scheduled for. So this is what the class is scheduled for. Is it every Monday 7:15 to 8:15 a.m. and every Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. We're going to start implementing that type of data into here. I have some data inside of my Google Sheets document that is pre-laid out, but essentially what I want the user to be able to do is say, I have biology on Monday from 7:15 a.m. to 8:15 a.m. I want it to be written out just like this. And then I want a formula that's going to tell me what classes I have today or what classes the user has today. So if today is Monday, it will tell me I have biology class today from 7:15 a.m. to 8:15 a.m. So I'm going to create a formula here called time today at. And this is going to be a formula. So I already have a pre-made formula at the bottom of this template that I'm just going to copy and paste into here. But firstly, let's copy and paste some of that data. I'm just going to copy all of this. What I'm going to do is convert this to a multi-select property. And this is what you're going to see in the final template. A multi-select property you can start adding options to. And the only thing you really need to do is write out your select options as day of the week you have the class, dash the times you have it at. So I do have a little guide here for that if that's a little bit confusing. You can also have 2 different times inside of the same day. Let's say biology is Monday, 7:15 a.m. to 8:15 a.m. and 2 p.m. or 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. With this formula down at the bottom, just have to copy this. If I go back up to the top and just paste this in, it should work. So today I'm filming on a Sunday. None of these examples are for a Sunday. So let's adjust one of these for the sake of example and say organic chemistry is actually on Sunday. Change Saturday to Sunday. You'll see that it has appeared inside of the cell that I have something to do today between 1 and 2:15 p.m., which is great for the linked database I'm going to create inside of this dashboard at the very top of the page, which is going to show me all the classes I need to do today and at what time I need to go to them. I'm going to add another property that says days, and this will extract all of the days each class is landing on. That's also a formula, and I have that formula at the bottom of the page. That is the only other formula. I'm going to copy that and bring it up here. What 2 properties do you need for these formulas? Both formulas require the scheduled for property and the done property. Let's hide scheduled for, keep done in here, and bring back some of those other properties like instructor and building and room and term. There's also other properties we could add. Now that I'm thinking about it, we can add a property like grade. If you want to keep track of grades. I'm actually going to hide time today. Let's say always hide. Or hide when empty. Days, maybe we can hide this. So let's add a new property called grade or current grade. So you keep track of what grade you have in this class. And what I can do is go to this 1, 2, 3 button and change this number to a percent. And just make this 89%. Now that we have all this in place, I want to start designing this dashboard and making it look nice and accessible. At the very top of the dashboard, I want 2 different views. I want to see all the classes I'm doing today. So what to do today. And I'm going to create a linked database, create linked database, and search for my class directory. And I'm going to create a new view that is a list view. This is going to look a little bit cleaner. I'm going to delete that original table view. I only want to see time today at that formula we made, and I don't want to see building. I'm going to create a filter here that says that formula, that time today, is not empty, so it's filled out, which will just give me that one class I have to do today. And I'm going to create, actually I'm going to go Command D to quickly duplicate this header, bring it over to the side here, create two different columns, and I'm going to rename this one to Recent Notes. Create another linked database below it to my notebook. Drag this under this column, and under here do the same thing, / linked database. Search for my class notebook, and make sure this is also a list, deleting that original table view. I'm going to keep that date created showing through the view, so I don't need to adjust the property, but I do want to go to properties, go to show on first load. So this is the total amount of entries you'll be able to see upon clicking into this page. And I just want to see 10. So I want to see the 10 most recent notes. What you can also do with inline code is change the color. So the automatic color here is going to be red. I can highlight the text and change that color to maybe blue. I want to start adding some icons here to make it look nice. Firstly, I want to give these databases some icons. Open it up as a page and go to the add icon and give it a custom icon. Going to that website, I'm going to search for something, maybe a navigation icon here, because it kind of is acting like a navigation. So I'm going to link that in here. All right, the next database is that calendar. You'll see that icon shows up here very nicely. The calendar, give this guy an icon. And inside of the notebook, give this maybe a bookmark. Another thing I want to do, go to my class notebook, which through a linked database you can click to, and I'm going to give it a template. New note. And give it an icon. An icon I might want for this one, for a note, is maybe a file inside of a link. Link it out. What I can do now is add that template just like all of the other templates, and this icon will appear. Going back to that home page, I want to do the same thing with the calendar. For each one of these assignments, I want the same thing. So new template, new assignment. What would be the icon for this one? Check mark for this one. All right. Maybe have a different emoji for stuff that isn't for classes that are extra, like doctor's appointments. So I could go new template and have multiple templates. Give this another icon. Maybe a disk. Pretty generic. And that's about it. Yeah, let's put in some other icons. So I'm going to go / image. And it looks like I created another column to the side. So I'm just going to go like this. And just drag this over. Create another one. And drag it here. Yeah, that looks nice. I also had another one. Image. Right next to each one of these main databases. And I'm just going to create two different columns. Drag this database inside of one column. Keep the image on the other. And just do the same thing down the line. And it looks like I have one down at the bottom here too. Create two columns and do the same thing. And an image. And and everything looks about right. Do a quick scroll through from top to bottom. Everything looks good. I might rearrange a few things, make it look a little bit neater, have some direction callouts where need be if it's a little bit too confusing. Yeah, let's go right into the outro. I hope you guys at the very least got some inspiration from this little tutorial build. And of course, there are templates down below for you guys to duplicate into your own Notion workspace and to mess around with it. I'm also going to include some formulas that I had created inside of this tutorial and just put them separately at the bottom if you just want to take a look at that. Other than that, there will be two different templates, one for light mode and dark mode. And I will see you guys the rest of the week on Twitter and next week with a new video. I'll see you then.